Welcome to E.P.G. Padashala. I am K. Rajan, Department of History, Pondicherry University. And today we are dealing on the subject on Indian culture, and the paper is on art and architecture of India. And the module is Chola Paintings. As you well aware, in the past two modules, we covered one is Pallava art and also we covered Pallava and Pandya paintings. The main objective of this present Chola paintings is that to know about the introduction of mural paintings in Tamil Nadu. Secondly, to understand the treatment and the technique involved in the execution of paintings. To understand the evolutionary process involved in the paintings, and also to know or to estimate the theme and the content of the Chola paintings. With regard to the Cholas, they came to the power in the middle of the 8th century AD in the central part of Tamil Nadu. These dynasty or the rulers of this Chola dynasty expressed keen interest in the pro-liberation of religious edifices. Aditya I, the son of the first ruler Vijayalaya, was said to have constructed over 100 temples all along the banks of river Kaveri. The Aditya's son, the Parantaka I, expressed his devotion by covering the roof of the Chidambaram temple with gold plate, and because of this noble act, he attained the title Ponvainda Perumal, and this temple, the Nataraja of Thillai, has become a Abhisheka Murti for them and also become the tutelary deity, what they call it Kulanayakam of the Chola family. These Chola rulers always while taking a crown, they always go to this temple, and from there only they become rulers. The name of the Rajaraja is Arulmoli Varuman initially, and the Rajaraja's name is Abhisheka Nama. He born to Chandra Chola and his queen Vanavan Madevi, carried forward the legacy and created the architectural splendor at Tanjavur, as you well aware, that is the Brihadishwara temple, with unflinching devotion to the Adavallan, the god Siva. The great Chola king Rajaraja I constructed the great marvelous structural temple Rajarajeshwaram, popularly known as Brihadishwara temple or Big Temple, at his capital city Tanjavur, one of the greatest achievements of the contemporary world. Beyond the conceptualization of and execution of this architectural monument of gigantic proportion, the temple Rajarajeshwaram is known for carefully and tastefully executed excellent sculptures and paintings. The discovery of Ajanta paintings, in fact, kindled the interest of the scholars, and the publication led to the discovery of more paintings in the temples. This enthusiasm led to the discovery of the remains of paintings or murals of the early Chalukyas, Pallavas and Pandyas, respectively at Badami, Kanjipuram and Chittanavasan. These discoveries pushed the tradition beyond the Western Indian caves and made it a greater impact in the minds of art historians of India. Professor S.K. Govindaswamy of Annamalai University, Chidambaram, discovered this painting by using a small lamp in the dark passage of the Pradakshinapada of the Brihadishwara temple at Tanjavur on 9th April 1931. Thanks to Professor S.K. Govindaswamy for his discovery. His publication, A New Link Indian Art, in the Hindu Illustrated Weekly in June 1931, after 2 months of his discovery, placed the Chola murals on the firm ground and also paved a new way for understanding the Chola paintings. He brilliantly identified the portrayal story of the Sundarar, Sharaman Perumal, riding on a horse and the King Rajaraja. His eminent scholarship is well reflected his identification and interpretation, and his scholarly activities received the attention of Archaeological Survey of India. The discovery led to the takeover of the temple by the Archaeological Survey of India from the senior prince, the traditional trustee of the Tanjavur temple, the Maratha family. The Archaeological Survey of India then entrusted the conservation and preservation of the Chola paintings to one of the great chemists of India, Mr. S. Paramashivam. Since then, art historians like C. Sivaramamurthy, the former director of Indian Museum, National Museum, and also T. N. Ramachandran, the Joint Director General of Archaeological Survey of India, paid a great attention to these paintings, and they documented these paintings, and one Mr. Nachiyappan joined with them, and he personally executed the documentation of these paintings as a photographer. C. Nachiyappan, who published those images very recently in his book Magnificent Mural Paintings of Sittanavasal, Panamalai, Tanjavur Early Chola Paintings and Karna Sculptures of Tamil Nadu. Finally, and very recently, the Superintending Archaeology of Archaeological Survey of India, P.S. Sri Raman, documented the paintings frame by frame and were combined or synthesized into one frame and published in a book entitled The Chola Murals by the Archaeological Survey of India in the year 2011. The information joined or combined or culled from the inscription suggests that the construction of the Rajarajeshwaram temple was inaugurated by the Chola king Rajaraja I on the 19th regnal year, that is in the year 1003 or 4, early part of 1004. According to another inscription, on the 275th day of his 25th regnal year, that is 1009 or 10 AD, he donated the copper metal with a sufficient quantity of gold for gilding the Kalasha for the preparation of Kalasha, meant to serve as the funeral of Sri Vimana. Thus, the temple might have completed between the 19th and 25th regnal year of Rajaraja, probably in the record time of 5 to 6 years. The paintings might have also executed during the time of Rajaraja I. You could see the towering Vimana constructed over the Shantam Santorium of the temple, and you are having a Shikara on the top that is having 80 ton weightage, and above that you are having a Kalasha, and below the Kalasha you are having a Maratha inscription also. On the right side you are having a Sandeshwara Anugraha Murti, or what you can say, you are having a Sandesha temple looking towards the northern entrance of the temple, and behind that you are having looking towards east is the Subramanya temple. In this temple you are having two walls, and over which laid with a roof over which this Vimana has been raised. So that serves as a Sandara type of temple, in which the outer wall of the temple, or you can say inner, in the Pradakshina Pada, the both wall are having a painting. The chief architect of this temple was Veera Solan, Kunjara Mallan, and he has got the title probably after the construction of the temple, Rajaraja Perundachan. The other architects along with him who worked to construct this temple is the Madurandakan alias Nitta Vinoda Perundachan. So, he got the title Nitta Vinoda Perundachan. Aathi Shadayan, the original name, again he got the title Gandaraditya Perundachan. The Prahara was constructed by his army general Shanadipati Krishnan Raman. So, the entire administration of the temple was entrusted with Poigai Nadu Kilavan alias Adityan Surya Velan Tennavan Muvenda Velan. See, the Muvenda Velan is one of the highest title, the highest official normally will be holding in the Chola administration. The Sirikaryam, the highest officer of the temple and the highest priest of the temple was Sivacharya, Pavana and Pidaran. So, the paintings we could see in the walls of the Pradakshina Pada. The paintings are executed on the walls of the circumambulatory passage, what we call Pradakshina Pada of the Sanctum Sanctorium. The Pradakshina Pada is divided into 15 chambers. Each chamber has two vertical surfaces to execute the paintings. That is, the inner surface of the outer wall and the outer surface of the inner wall of the Vimana. So, each wall has painted with one theme such as Sage, the great sage, teaching his royal disciples, that is in chamber wall number 5, and the story of Sundarar, the famous story of Sundarar in chamber wall number 7, Rajaraja worshipping Nataraja at the Koil, that means the famous Chidambaram temple, that is chamber wall number 9, the Siva as a Kalyanasundaram Murti and Ravana Anugraha Murti in chamber wall number 7, and many other such paintings could be seen on the walls of the Pradakshina Pada. A sage teaching his royal disciples could be seen in the walls. The first panel of the passage, that while you are entering from the southern side, the first panel of the passage is on the outer surface of the inner wall is the sage and his disciples. The short, that means very dwarf size, pit-bellied with a chubby face sage seated on a red cushioned pita with a backrest occupies the central part of the theme that shows that he is a great sage, and his magnified portions or indicates his relative eminence and centrality to the depiction. So, he has been placed at the center of the whole depiction. His bulky body rests on massive and oval-shaped cushion covered with a white cloth with extreme either ends decorated with red. He is adorned with a bejeweled or jadamaguda with datura flower and what we call it famously Umattam Poo in Tamil. And a long striped cloth is twisted and tied around the head in the lower margin of the hairdo. The silken white eyebrows clearly indicates that he is at his advanced stage. His right hand rested on the kneecap of the raised leg, whereas the left hand is Kadagahasta posture, suggesting that he is busy with teaching. You could see in this painting, on the right side, you could see that the sage is seated on a red carpet, and behind you could see the cushion, and you see the maguda, what we call jada maguda, he will be wearing, and also around that you are having disciples. And in front, you could see there are 3 people are seated and in the position of hearing what he preaches. So, a sage teaching his royal disciples is clearly given, and on the above this sage, you could see that Siva and Parvati is shown in the heaven, and also on the right side, a man is in the worshipping posture. And on the left side of this sage, you are having a three people standing, probably with a crown, probably a royal disciples. And the people who are seated, this is a Siva Parvati shown above this stage, and also you are having one devotee below. To his left, as you have seen in the painting, three human figures, what we considered as a royal figures, are shown seated on the ground. To his left, wear ornamental crown, suggesting their royal status. All the three are shown carrying a palm leaf in their left hand and a bunch of palm leaves kept in front of them on traditional cross-armed palm leaf stand, suggesting that they are student. To his right, two persons are depicted. The red color elderly man and green color younger man with divine expression had individual palm leaf holes and pictures with spouts. The whole theme looks as if the sage is propagating the knowledge or giving the knowledge to their disciples, what these 5 disciples all around him. So, as I told you, or as you have seen in the picture, we are having a sage at the bottom. On the top, you are having a Shiva Parvati. This identification of Shiva Parvati, there is a dispute. The sage was first identified with Shiva as Dakshinamurti. And the scholars are reluctant to associate this sage with Shiva because the non-availability of the third eye in the forehead. Thus, the identification with Agastya also discounted, as the figure Agastya always shown either seated in Virasana on a Bhatmapita or holding a rosary in his right hand and palm leaf or kamandalu in his left hand. The sage with 3 royal disciples, one is king, another 2 are queens, seated on his left suggests that sage is probably teaching the royal disciples. The previous Sri Raman, the superintending archaeologist of Archaeological Survey of India, identifies with Ishana Shiva Pandita, who referred as Udayar Sri Rajaraja Devar Gurukul, the Guru of Rajaraja first. The next panel, you are having the famous story of Sundara. As per Periya Puranam of Shekilar, Alala Sundara, a devotee of Shiva at Kailasha, fell in love with 2 damsels, that Kamalini and Anindiri. Even though Alala Sundara realized his mistake, Siva did not accept his explanation, but ordered him to be born in mortal world and marry the 2 damsels and come back to Kailasha after enjoying the earthly world. He pleaded Shiva, but without any success. However, Siva assured him that he would be redeemed at right time or at appropriate time. He was born to Sadayanar and Ishanyani, living Navalur near Tirukoilur, and was named as Nambi Aruran. His father decided to marry him to the daughter of Shadangavi Sivacharya. On the day of marriage at Navalur, Siva appeared as an old Brahmana and claimed by showing a palm leaf given by his ancestors as a proof that Nambi was his slave. The furious Nambi called him Pitta, and he snatched the signed document, that palm leaf, and destroyed it or tore it into pieces. But the old Brahmana pleaded justice with the elders of the Navalur village and told that the palm leaf torn by Nambi is only a copy of the original document, and the original was preserved at Tiruvannai Nallur. The elders decided to verify the original document as told by this old man, and he produced it before the Sabha of Tiruvannai Nallur. The Sabha encouraged the old man to show his ancestral house as a further proof of his identity. The old man entered into the Tiruvannai Nallur temple and disappeared in front of all. The Nambi then realized that he is none other than Siva. Siva reappeared again to make Nambi to realize his antecedents or his forefathers, and also ordered Nambi to sing a song in praise of him with the starting word, the Pitta, which he expressed while he was showing the palm leaf. This evidence is famously called Konda Perumal. So you could see that in the painting that Siva is a old Brahmana holding an umbrella, showing a palm leaf in front of the elders, and Nambi is in Anjali posture on the left side. And after seeing that palm leaf, then they started moving towards Tiruvannai Nallur after to see the original. Then there is another story about Sundarar and Charaman Perumal. So this Charaman Perumal, a Chara ruler from Kodungalur, what we call, now they call Kodungalur, the ancient Mahodai, located close to Tiruchur of the present Kerala, is a staunch devotee of Shiva. In appreciation of his devotion, Shiva blessed him with a unique power of hearing a chimes of his anklet, the noise of his anklet, or the noise of his anklet that is emanating while dancing. That is called Ananda Tandava at Thillai. One day, he fails to hear this noise or the sound that is emanating from the anklet of the Shiva, and he became so upset and decided to slay his life, to give up his life. Siva appeared and told him that I lost the track of time while listening the soulful hymns of rendered by the saint Sundarar. This induced him, the Charaman Perumal, to meet Sundarar, and he made to visit Tiruvarur and met Sundarar, and both became friends from that time as a sign of devotees. One day Sundarar, while praying at Tiruvanjikalam, that is located in Kerala, realized that the end of his life was very near, and he prayed the god to take him back. Siva responded to his prayer by sending a white elephant accompanied by gods to bring him back to Kailasa. On seeing his close friend departed to Kailasa, Charaman Perumal, mounted on a horse, and actually literally white horse, and uttered the word Panjakshara, the Namachivaya. The Panjakshara actually in the years once it is told, which provided a divine power to the horse, and it took him to the Kailasa before Sundarar reaches the elephant. However, Charaman Perumal denied the permission at the gate by Shiva Ganas. On the request of Sundarar again, both were entered Kailasa. Thus, the Sundarar and Charaman Perumal occupied a unique position among the Saiva Nayanmars. The whole episode is beautifully and excellently executed in a canvas horizontally divided into 3 parts, with each part expressing the important events happened in the life of Sundarar. The bottommost part, occupying almost the quarter of the canvas, depicts the incident happened at Tirunavalur and Tiruvannai Nallur, whereas the Siva made appearance to make Sundarar realize his antecedents. The middle part is depicted his worship at Tiruvanjikalam and subsequent event of Sundarar and Charaman Perumal moving towards Kailasa on elephant and horse respectively. The Tiritala Vimana of Tiruvanjikalam temple with Mukhamantapa bounded by Prahara is shown with Nataraja and Devi leaning on a bull with parasol above her. A boy collecting some flowers from a circular pond with full of lilies and lotuses in front of the temple. The Sundarar is shown seated in front of the temple, composing his Padigam within the Prahara wall. You could see here that picture has shown very clearly the story in a three part. The bottommost one is showing where he was in Tirunavalur and Tiruvannainallur. The second one, which is having white elephant seated by Sundarar in Padmasana position on the top of the elephant, and just before him you could see on the white horse Saraman Perumal is moving fast. On the top you are having that Siva and Parvati, and these two Saraman Perumal and the Sundarar seated in front of the Siva, in front of Siva in the heaven. You could see the close view of this Sundarar and Saraman Perumal, and you see the elephant is adorned with jewelry, and the Sundarar seated in a Padmasana position on the top of the elephant, and in front you are having a galloping white horse seated with Saraman Perumal in front. That shows that before Saraman Perumal, before Sundarar, the Saraman Perumal reaches heaven. And very interestingly, one devotee is holding a tail of the elephant, whereby along with these two people he also wants to reach heaven, probably a shortcut route. And you can see all the legs of the elephants have been decorated. The upper part is completely devoted to represent Sundarar's journey on a white elephant to Kailasa. This magnificent depiction of the event is considered as one of the masterpieces of Chola paintings. Sundarar, seated in Padmasana, as I told you earlier, on a well-decorated divine white elephant with a pair of golden tusks. The elephant is highly decorated with pearls, semi-precious stones, and swinging bells. A common man, probably a devotee, holds the tail of the elephant so as to reach Kailasa through shortcut route. The entire upper portion is depicted with Kailasa. In Kailasa, Siva holding Parasu, Malu and Mirga, the deer, is depicted with Yogapatta, tied around his bent right knee, seated on tiger skin, under the banyan tree with Uma on his side. The Pokkanam, what we call it, customary bag of asses, a bunch of peacock feathers and rattling snake are shown hanging on the banyan tree. Nandi is seated at Siva's feet. Siva is surrounded by Ganas playing musical instruments to the pair of divine dancers performing dance in front of the god. Sundarar with Saraman folded hand are shown seated on the floor in front of the god in the heaven. The whole episode is being witnessed by several gods and goddesses like Brahma, Vishnu, Yagadasa, Rudras, Dwadasa, Adityas, sages and other damsels, gods and goddesses. You could see here the two were seated at the bottom and the two damsels were performing in front of that, and you see the Siva in a red color, it has shown on the right, and several gods and goddesses are surrounding around him. You could see that the Yogapatta very clearly on the right leg of Siva. And you can see that the dancing girls in front of the Shiva, and down below the dancing girls on the left side you could see the Saraman Perumal and Sundarar seated together in a Padmasana position. And the same way Rajaraja worshipping Siva, that famous cosmic dance Nataraja at Thillai, that means Chidambaram temple. The Rajaraja worshipping their family deity Adavallan, the Nataraja at Thillai in Chidambaram, is depicted in one of the chamber. The Nataraja with radiant smile is majestically depicted with white-hued body. The color of the Siva is in white in color, wearing tiger skin in the waist and also over the left shoulder. The right leg painted in red brambles and apasmara, and the left leg is lifted up. The headdress is shown with jadabara with 4 flaming strands of jada flowing on either side to show that he is in a dynamic position. The 4 hands fused beautifully at the shoulder. You could see here the Shiva in a dancing position and standing on a apasmara on the right leg. You can see the left leg is raised up, and you could see on the right side the Rajaraja, the king Rajaraja is standing along with 3 queens in different colors they have shown, white, yellow and red. And Siva is covered with the tiger skin in the waist, and also the shoulder you could see again tiger skin. The upper right and left hands holds Damaru and Agni respectively, whereas the lower left and right hand are shown Gajahasta, that means in the elephant shaped trunk, and Abhaya position they have shown. The snake with the golden hue and dotted skin is twisted around the right hand. The gravity of the shift or the dynamic dance is represented with flying garments and jada and vast ornament. It clearly shows that it is in a dancing position. The captivating Ananda Tandava, the cosmic dance performance of the Lord in the Chitta Sabha, the Sanctum Sanctorium of Chidambaram temple, is being witnessed by his consort, guards, and Rajaraja holding handful of flowers and his 3 queens in Anjali posture. Standing behind him, offers worship to the Lord. Then Siva as a Kalyanasundaram Murti, we used to get it in both in bronze objects, in sculptures and also in paintings. Siva as a Kalyanasundaram Murti is depicted in the northwestern corner of the Pradakshina Pada. According to the story, Siva went on doing penance for after the death of Sati, the consort of Siva and the daughter of Daksha. Taking the advantage of the situation, Tarakasura was causing annoyance to the gods and disturbing the gods, others as he could be killed only by a progeny born to Siva. Therefore, all the gods pleaded Siva to marry Parvati, the daughter of Himavan, the god of Himalayas. Finally, Siva consented to the request of marrying Parvati. The marriage scene is extraordinarily depicted by the Chola painter. Vishnu, green in color, holds the hand of the goddess to perform Kanyadana or Kanyadada, standing next to Siva. Another panel shows that Rajaraja with his Guru Karvur Devar. The 2 pair of female figures in yellow and red color respectively, with a silky beard man, the old man, and a dropping mustache depicted one above the other in the northwestern corner of the sanctum of the Pradakshina Pada. The 2 male figures, the old and the young, at the bottom of the panel received the attention of the scholars. The reason is that the old person or the old man having silky beard and dropping mustache, wearing a jadabanda and holds kamandalu in his hand, and left hand is kept near the chest. It is considered as a guru or a sage. Second person, red in color, again with jadabanda, stands behind the old man. Taking in view of the context of the panel, most of the scholars accept that These two female figures, none other than Rajaraja and his Guru, Karuvur Devar. You could see the painting. There are two figures on the top, where one is a white hair, another man in red color, another man in yellow color. Below that, we are having two figures. One is identified, the old man is identified as a Karuvur Devar, and the right one, the younger man, is identified as a Rajaraja first. So that way it is, but there are controversy with regarding to the identification. The people, some of the people having an interpretation that the older man is none other than a Rajaraja, the younger one is Rajendra first. However, most of the people or most of the scholars believe that this is a Karuvur Devar and Rajaraja first. And Siva as a Tripurandaka is found in all over the temples of Brihadishwara temple. And he considered as a Mumbudi Cholan because the man who defeated Pandyas, Pallavas and Cheras. So he destroyed 3 dynasties. So he always liked to have this Tripurandaka panel. So the most favored theme of the King Rajaraja is again as a Tripurandaka, and nearly 32 images were installed in the external niches of the Vimana representing the imperial significance. So Rajaraja is always believed that that Tripurandaka, the Siva form, is also considered, he also defeated the 3 dynasties. According to the one legend, the 3 sons of Tarakasura, namely Vidiyamitra and Tarakaksha and Kamalaksha, obtained a boon from Brahma through penance, whereby they could occupy 3 castles, and 3 castles should join together after 1,000 years, which could be only destroyed or be destructible only with a single arrow. The Maya, the great architect of Asuras, constructed 3 these buildings or castles built of iron, silver and gold, respectively on the earth, the iron on the earth, the silver in the air and the gold in the heaven. These powerful Asuras began to irritate and disturb the gods and rishis. The gods and rishis failed to control them, therefore they appealed to Brahma. Brahma told that they could be destroyed only with a single arrow, and Brahma advised them, please kindly pray to Mahadeva. And all they went to Siva and they prayed that these Asuras should be destroyed with a powerful weapon. Then Mahadeva accepted their request, that Siva accepted their request, provided that all the gods should join with him or they should give half of their strength. Having accepted the condition of Siva, all the gods transformed themselves into various forms of his weapons unarmed. Vishnu became his arrow, for instance, Agni became its barb, and Yama its feather. The Vedas became his bow, and Adishesha, the snake, became a bowstring, and Brahma became his charioteer, and host of other gods like Ganesha mounted on the rat, Subramanya mounted on peacock holding a long sword and Vajra, 8-armed Durga mounted on the white lion, and Kali with Shula and Kapala in her hand. So that way all the gods joined together in performing this act. Interestingly, the 3 demons were the staunch devotees of Siva and they make daily worship. So, since they are devotees of Siva, Siva is reluctant to kill them but rather ready to destroy their castle or the buildings. On sensing this, Vishnu took a Avadara Buddha, and through preaching, Vishnu deviated them from the routine daily worship. Siva, after that, burned the castle, the buildings, without charging a single arrow, but with a loud laugh. This is one of the interesting feature of this Triprantaka panel, thereby showing his mighty power to gods. Even the Siva is holding this bow in an opposite direction. The 8-armed Triprantaka standing in Alida posture is depicted with left leg firmly placed on the brim of the chariot and right leg in the pit of the chariot. The 4 right arms respectively hold the Khadga, Parasu and Trishula in 3 arms, and the remaining 4th arm is plucking the arrow from the quiver tied to the right shoulder. The other 4 left arms respectively hold Ketaka, Trishula and bow in 3 arms, and the remaining 4th arm is depicted in Vismaya posture. The thin Channavira to indicate a soldier or a brave man worn across the chest personify him as warrior. The eyebrows or eyeballs and the forcefully opened third eye clearly express his anger towards their devotees. The bow was not stringed, rather kept in opposite direction, thereby indicating that he need not to charge an arrow to destroy the castles, rather burn them with a loud laugh. This is the picture of the Siva. You could see that the bow is kept in opposite direction, not in a charging position, and you see that eyeballs are wide open and third eye is shown, so thereby he is very angry man. And just see the right leg is strongly placed on the brim of the chariot and the left leg in the pit. Just in front of him you could see 3-headed, you can see the 4-headed god, that Brahma. And you can see the complete picture has shown here, the Triprantaka panel, in which the Shiva in a red color, and in front you are having a Brahma, and also you could see all the below him you are having a Subramanya and Ganesha and Durga. In another one you could see that all these the devotees, all 3 people have shown. The 3 asuras and other asuras in good numbers are depicted with all sorts of position, fighting vigorously against Shiva with clubs, swords and other offensive weapons. They were depicted with terrific facial expression, with swollen eyes and scratching mouths. Their wives, with weeping eyes, tried to prevent the asuras in fighting against Mahadeva. Maya, their guru, the famous architect, stands in the corner with a sad face, knowing the fate of the castle that he was built for these 3 asuras. Among the asuras, one carries the votive linga, probably indicate their daily worship or to save himself or themselves from the anger of Shiva. Vishnu as a Buddha to convert these 3 asuras who tried to divert the attention of the asuras from their routine daily worship. He is seated on a simhasana surrounded with asuras with 3 umbrellas over his head and also hollow around his head. So these are the stories that we have collected from the panel of Brihadishwara temple at Tanjavur. But the technique and treatment of the painting is different. The painters of ancient India, so though as I told you earlier in my lectures, that we are having painting from Middle Paleolithic time onwards. So this has improved, well improved what we have seen in Pallava paintings at Chittanavasal or Pandya paintings at Chittanavasal, Pallava painting at Kalyanasundaram temple, Ajanta paintings and also Chalukya paintings at Badami. The painters of ancient India used 2 fundamental techniques, namely tempera technique and fresco technique. In tempera techniques, the pigments are applied on dry surface, which become distinct layer on drying. The survival of this layer of pigments depends on the strength of the binding material. Since it is applied on the dry surface, it has been bounded with some binding material. Otherwise, the pigment layer will peel off from the surface. However, the painter has complete freedom both in terms of time and space in executing his thought and the perception. Therefore, the ancient painters widely used this technique because if the painting is executed on the dry surface, it is easy to execute. In contrast to this tempera technique, that is applying the painting on a dry surface, the pigment is applied on the fresh lime plaster surface that when it is still in wet condition. The color applied on this wet surface becomes saturated with lime. The lime of the surface absorbs carbon dioxide from the atmosphere to become a carbonate of lime and forming a crystalline surface covering. The pigments applied in the wet surface will also be locked between the crystals and totally integrated with the lime plaster surface when the surface dried out. This process protects the pigment from atmospheric influence like humidity and dampness. Though the fresco technique looks very simple, but the preparation of wet surface and its subsequent execution of pigment is a complicated one. Unless otherwise, the painter had a deft hand, it is very difficult to execute. It is presumed that each day they prepare the wet surface area and then paint it. The contiguous area or the connected area would be taken up the next day, and this process goes on every day till the completion of painting. Since they prepare a particular area of surface every day, one could see the visible joints, and the identification of these perceptible joints are considered as true fresco. The scholarly examination of the Chola paintings by the famous chemist S. Paramasivan, the Shanaullah, Subbaraman and others clearly shows that this is one of the best fresco paintings of South India. That way, these Chola paintings is a unique painting that we have observed in the Brihadishwara temple at Thanjavur. The Chola painters excel in all departments such as the preparation of the wet surface daily, application of pigments and scheme of shading the gods, royal figures, animals and plants and composition of the events, utilization of the space and so on and so forth to create a marvelous and magnificent paintings which could withstand the ravages of time. The facial emotions of expressions and expression like a Raudra, Karuna, Vishmaya, Hashya and many other celebrated rasas and aspects are brilliantly brought out through deft handling by the Chola painters of 9th century and 10th century AD. The visual representation of paintings are so communicative with a viewer and so dynamic in nature. The whole depiction is a testimony to the painter's imaginative skill, technical knowledge, human psychology, body language, and literary familiarity. Therefore, even today, the Chola paintings are considered as magnum opus of their times. Thank you very much.